Hello everyone, my name is Ariel Oriega. Today I want to tell you about 5 steps to becoming a native like English speakers. Acquiring native like fluency in any language is hard in itself if you are only focused on the end game. However, if you break the entire process of reaching the highest level of English language mastery into multiple stages, then it's suddenly a much easier picture to paint. Nobody can go from 0 to 100 overnight, but you can certainly pick specific pieces up on the go and acquire as much language skills, knowledge, and finesse as possible before you can pair up with natives. Everyone's language learning journey has to start somewhere. Whether it is at the first English lesson at school, through the music and televisions, or during a trip to an English speaking country. The fun part of it all is during whatever comes next. If your ultimate goal as an English language learner is to become a native like speaker, it is imminent that you go through these 5 stages at a certain point in time, one way or the other. The first is conversational basics. The first steps of the English language learning journey are small indeed. However, mastering each and every step at this stage serves as an immediate compass for setting for your language each and every steps, learning goals, and a stimulus toward reaching the more complicated stuff as soon as possible. In order to get the hard stuff and hang out with the grown-ups, language learners simply must learn to express themselves at the basic level first before being able to pick up a Hemingway book or watch a Nolan movie without any difficulties. The following is a short list of all the things that are covered at this particular stage. Learning the English alphabet by heart, using basic expressions, e.g. greetings, introducing oneself, asking for directions, etc. Knowing how to respond to questions and converse with basic expressions. Practicing listening of short conversations for comprehensions. The ability to communicate routine information on familiar concepts. Touching on the basics of reading, e.g. reading only short sentences, single words, etc. The second step is vocabulary frenzy. Although abundant vocabulary is not the only thing an English learner face at this particular stage, it is by far the one aspect of English they will spend most time on. Personally, I like to revisit this stage on a daily basis even to this day. An English speaker can never know too many words due to the infinite amount of situations they can find themselves. Moreover, touching upon the work of English grammar to be able to fully express oneself goes hand in hand with continually enriched vocabulary. Here are a few bullet points with things to be mastered at stage 2. Learning a plethora of new words that are used in a different context, and then learning new phrases and expressions beyond everyday usage. And then the next, practicing proper pronunciation. And then practicing reading of larger pieces of content. And then learning the basics of English grammar. And then the last is learning the basics of written English, e.g. comma placement, subject-verb agreement, etc. The third step is grammar galore. Once you swim into the waters of English grammar, there's no going back. You are either in or you are out. Yes, words and expressions are important, but they mean absolutely nothing if they are spoken in a senseless way. This stage is the gray area between knowing the basics of English expressions and turning it into coherent language output in the real world. Here you have some inevitable steps of an English learner that is midway to attaining native-like fluency. The first is getting acquainted with all of the English regular tenses. And then the next is learning more advanced grammar, e.g. conditionals, passive voice, etc. Then the next is the ability to understand and express complex ideas, feelings, and topics. And then the ability to properly articulate a wide range of language in most situations. And then the ability to effectively discern and use advanced vocabulary, e.g. homophones, synonyms, antonyms, etc. And then the ability to read fluently without little to no pronunciation errors. And then the ability to speak fluently but with a lot of pronunciation and grammar errors. And then the last is having a broad active reading vocabulary with difficulties in understanding infrequent idiomatic expressions. And then the fourth stage is earn your stripes. It always becomes the hardest towards in the end. Just when you thought you have mastered all the words you'll ever need and all the grammar possible, English pulls a rabbit out of its hat in the form of idioms, phrasal verbs, complex sentence structure, weird writing rules. This stage is about learning the bits and pieces for improving and polishing all the English language skills, even though they are still somewhat raw around the edge. They contain all the teeny, multi-shaped pieces needed for finishing the giant puzzle that is the English language. The following things are must-learn aspects of English before you can head into the deep waters of native-like speakers. The first is the ability to understand everything you read, with some trouble understanding all the details during listening. And then the ability to understand and use academic, obsolete, and slang words and expressions without much difficulty. And then the third is the ability to produce written and verbal content for different purposes, e.g. academic papers, verbal presentations, etc. The ability to follow and understand long formats of text at once. And then the ability to fluently and effectively understand and use phrasal verbs. And then next is having a great command of all English tenses and advanced sentence construction, more written than verbally. And then having a good command of idiomatic expressions, both written and verbally. And then the last is having a fluent command of spoken English, but good enough to be properly understood by others. The fifth stage is all hands on deck. We have arrived at the final stage, where the initial learning process is sort over. However, you can never know all the language that is out there. If English is your second language, your job does not stop at reaching the highest level of fluency. A skill that is acquired and not natural can deteriorate over time. In the words, a native-like English speaker can naturally use all the language has to over, but they are also one to naturally and always learn more, finish and polish their existing skills, and never cease to use what they know to the fullest of their capabilities. That being said, these are the characteristics and virtues of native-like English speakers. First is the ability to understand everything you hear and read. and then the ability to read and speak fluently without major pauses in output, and then knowing how to make inferences in context, but both written and verbal, and then the ability to produce written and verbal content for different purpose at a native-like level. And then the next is the ability to communicate fluently and precisely in complex conversations and discussions. And then the ability to recognize and understand spoken English in a variety of accents without much difficulty. And then the ability to imitate a native-like accent. And last but certainly not least, being aware that the process of learning the English language never stops, as it is the ultimate form of human expressions, one that is constantly developed and enriched over time. Alright, guys, that's all I explain about the native like 5 steps while you learning English. Okay, thank you for watching this video and goodbye.